This is my first time here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Greg O'Hara, founder of Certares, which is the largest investment platform specializing in travel, hospitality, and tourism. We've got over $10 billion of assets under management invested all over the world. I've been in the travel industry for more than 30 years, first as an operator, and then as an investor. We founded Certares in 2012. Our team's made up of seasoned operators and investors. We've invested into iconic brands like Hertz. Our partner locally here in Greece is Eftikios, who also conveniently owns Aegean and is a great partner, one of our best partners all over the world. American Express, Global Business Travel, TripAdvisor, Internova, just to name a few of the portfolio companies that do business in and with Greek companies. We also have a significant amount of data that we use to help governments, and I'll get into that in a minute. We develop data analytics that can predict intent and demand as far out as 2 or 3 years. And so we've been working very closely with the Greek government, trying to shift demand out of traditionally high tourism spots like Mykonos and Santorini into other areas of Greece. We've got deep sector expertise. And because of this differentiated data, we can almost always come up with something new and exciting for investment opportunities. I'm honored to be here. I wanted to introduce myself so everyone know who I was. I'm honored to be here today amongst the distinguished guests and speakers. I spend a lot of time in Greece and consider it a second home. I visit here probably on average about once a month. Travel is a big part of the Greek economy. It accounts for 20% of the GDP and 25% of the jobs. As such, I want to spend a few minutes on Greece's robust tourism sector, how it's transformed, and how it will continue to grow for years to come. While it feels like COVID-19 is now in the rearview mirror, the pandemic was unprecedented and hit the travel industry hard. At its worst, arrivals in Greece fell over 70%, and the country's GDP, which was scheduled to go up by 2, actually shrank by 8. And to the minister's comments before, I'll diverge from my prepared comments. I will tell you that the Greek government, its ministers, the Minister of Development, the Minister of Tourism, the Health Minister, and the Prime Minister were the best responding government to COVID in the world, and I'm in a position to be able to judge that. I spent a lot of time here. The government listened, it thoughtfully implemented things, and I'll show you why I think that is. COVID was an opportunity that Greece, in my opinion, seized. Greece expects a full recovery of its tourism industry and sector this year, while the rest of Europe only expects an 80% recovery. Why is that? First, Greece was at the forefront of adapting to new conditions caused by the pandemic. For instance, the government, the public health representatives, policymakers worked all hand in hand. We didn't see that in other governments to create a response that supported travel and the businesses that are supported by travel. For example, to aid its reopening strategy, Greece developed an artificial intelligence system called EVA, which was a screening algorithm for people who had COVID. I don't know of another government that did that. That allowed them to effectively identify asymptomatic cases and thereby reduce strain on its testing budget and supply by 85%. That's huge. They also understood that COVID-19 was transitioning from pandemic to endemic, and it would be restrictive policies, not health concerns, that would limit travel demand, which was, again, leading edge in the world. As a result, Greece was one of the first major European destinations to reopen in summer 2020, while most of the world was still locked down. Second, travel demand is incredibly resilient. If you take this summer as an example, everything, flights, hotels, rental cars, are completely booked and booked at record high prices. The need to travel, explore, and get away is at the core of the human experience. And finally, Greece is not just any place. As someone mentioned, it's the cradle of Western civilization, full of ancient history, flanked by beautiful beaches and turquoise waters, covered by a variety of lush greenery and stunning, unique architecture, full of the kindest, most honorable people that we know, and the most hospitable. For all of these reasons, Greek tourism is coming back stronger and faster than the rest of the world and is expected to reach pre-COVID-19 levels, as I said, by the end of this year. While the travel industry in Greece and around the world has made tremendous progress, we're not entirely out of the woods just yet. Our minds have drifted past the pandemic to new fears around inflation, geopolitical conflicts, and recessionary pressures. While these are things that Certares continues to monitor, we have found a silver lining in the pandemic. After 2 years of lockdowns and restrictions, people are desperate to travel. And this is one of the times when people are putting their money where their mouth is. TSA checkpoints are at 114% of 2019 114% of 2019 right now, even though airline ticket prices are up 25% for any of those of you who've tried to travel. Going forward, the travel landscape looks different than before. A once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, inevitably a catalyst for transformation and growth. For example, we believe trends like remote work, distributed workforces, and bleisure, which is a combination of business travel and leisure, is here to stay and will actually generate more travel demand. Thinking about it, career-minded professionals who work remotely and choose to visit company headquarters monthly or quarterly to stay close to management and their teammates, while distributed workers may opt to spend several months working out of somewhere like Greece instead of continuing to be locked up at home. That's why our friend Henley and Partners, the visa is very, very important to allow those people to do it. The travel industry will also need to meet emerging consumer trends, and I'll skip that because I've been told to be brief. With that, I'd like to thank the economists for having me and turn back over to the panel.